All right, let's dive straight into what's probably the most frustrating mystery out there, recurring inverter shutdowns. If you've got an off-grid cabin or an RV, well, you already know the drill. The alarm screams and suddenly, boom, you're in the dark. In this explainer, we're going to put on our detective hats because instead of just guessing and throwing money at the problem, we're going to look at the actual evidence together and unmask the real culprits behind your power loss.
So I've got a question for you right off the bat. Is your battery actually the problem? Because when that low voltage alarm goes off on your inverter, the immediate assumption, and honestly, the advice you'll find literally everywhere online, is that your expensive battery bank is dying and you just have to replace it. But what if I told you that in a lot of cases, your battery is perfectly healthy? We really need to stop blindly blaming the battery right out of the gate.
Here's our troubleshooting roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the battery blame game. Second, the hidden physics behind it all. Third, identifying the real culprits. Fourth, the diagnostic playbook. And finally, number 5, safe testing practices. Let's jump right into section 1, the battery blame game, myth versus reality. You know, a lot of tutorials out there actually lead beginners completely astray with incomplete advice. Typical advice tells you to just grab a multimeter, check the battery's resting voltage, and if it's low, or if the inverter throws a code, you just go ahead and replace the battery. But a professional diagnosis, that demands we test the system while it's under a heavy load, and that we verify the entire DC system pathway, not just the battery terminals. And here is the absolute critical flaw in that rookie testing method. Voltage can look absolutely perfect when there's no load attached. A weak battery, or even a system with major wiring flaws, can easily show a perfectly normal, healthy voltage while it's just resting there on a sunny afternoon. But the moment your fridge demands current and power actually tries to flow, that voltage completely collapses. It's kind of like testing a car's engine without ever actually taking it out of park. If you aren't load testing, you're really only getting a tiny fraction of the whole story. Moving on to section 2, the hidden physics, why systems crash. Now, don't let the math scare you. These formulas aren't just dry textbook stuff. They are literally the blueprints of your power loss. You see, power equals voltage times current, but more importantly for us, voltage drop equals current times resistance. When you have physical resistance anywhere in your wiring, it mathematically guarantees your voltage is being stolen before it ever even reaches your equipment. I mean, your cables aren't supposed to double as space heaters, right? Let's put this into perspective with a real-world setup. Say you have a simple 1200-watt load running on a 24-volt system. The math tells us that this demands a massive 50 amps of continuous current. 50 amps! When you're pushing that much current through a wire, even the absolute tiniest amount of electrical resistance, like a slightly loose bolt, suddenly becomes a massive roadblock. And this brings us to our central villain, voltage drop. By definition, this is the decrease in voltage as current flows through a resistance. The absolutely crucial part of that equation is that as current increases, voltage drop increases right along with it. This hidden physics phenomenon is literally robbing your inverter of the power it desperately needs to operate. It is just bleeding your voltage dry right along the cables. Which leads to this massive aha moment. The inverter only sees voltage at its DC input terminals. So your inverter has absolutely no clue what your battery is actually outputting. It is completely blind to the battery itself. It only cares about the lower, degraded voltage that actually survives the journey through your wiring and makes it to the inverter. If the wiring eats 2 volts along the way, your inverter shuts down. Period. Even if the battery is completely 100% full. So, let's get into section 3. Identifying real culprits beyond the battery. If the battery isn't always the bad guy, who is? Well, here's your lineup of physical suspects. We're talking undersized cables that just can't handle the flow, loose hardware at the connection points, corroded lugs that add massive friction, excessive load demands that outpace your system's design, or even modern lithium battery management system lockouts. These are your rogue resistors. Think of them like kinks in a garden hose, completely choking off the flow of water. They steal your voltage, and then they cause the inverter to throw a fault code. And we've got to remember that power loss formula we talked about earlier. Doubling the current causes 4 times the heating loss. That means a connection that seems totally fine when you're just running, say, a couple of LED lights, can rapidly become a major power drain and a really serious fire risk when you kick on a heavy load like a microwave or a water pump. The heat loss multiplies exponentially, and that heat is literally your missing voltage burning away into the air. Also, if you're using modern lithium iron phosphate batteries, you absolutely need to know the difference between a true low voltage event and a BMS lockout. A battery management system, or BMS, will sometimes aggressively disconnect the battery internally just to protect it from freezing temps, overcurrent, or a cell imbalance. When the BMS gets triggered, the power instantly stops. Your inverter misinterprets that sudden drop as a depleted battery and throws a low voltage code. But in reality, the BMS just flipped the internal off switch to save itself.
All right, Section 4, the diagnostic playbook, step by step.
Here is a foolproof, evidence-based process that is going to completely eliminate the guesswork for you. Step 1, measure your battery voltage at the terminals with absolutely no load to get your baseline. Step 2, turn on a heavy appliance and measure that battery voltage again, this time under load. Step 3, keep that load running and move your meter over to measure the inverter input voltage under load. And finally, step 4, compare those last two readings. That's going to calculate exactly how much voltage is dropping across your cables. This right here brings us to the golden rule of field troubleshooting. If the inverter voltage is noticeably lower, energy is being lost between the battery and the inverter. Finding that missing voltage between point A and point B is, hands down, the single most important diagnostic test you can run in your entire system. It tells you exactly where the problem lives. Before you grab your tools, let's cover Section 5, Safe Testing Practices, Rules of Engagement. Listen, battery banks deliver incredibly high fault currents, so you really have to respect this energy. For your own protection, always remove metal jewelry before working near terminals, and try to use insulated tools whenever you can. It's also super crucial to double-check your meter settings before taking a measurement. Plugging your probes into the wrong ports can blow up a multimeter in an instant. Never disconnect high current cables while a load is running. And if you ever spot overheating, melted insulation, or hot lugs, power down safely and immediately. And please remember this above all else. Never assume a cable is de-energized. Just because you flipped off a switch doesn't actually guarantee your safety. Direct current arcs carry a massive amount of stored energy. And unlike the AC power inside your house walls, DC arcs are incredibly difficult to extinguish once they get going. Always treat the system as if it's live to prevent dangerous arc flashes or severe burns. Which brings us to the ultimate question for your own setup. What is the voltage difference across your system under load? I challenge you to stop guessing and start testing. Grab that multimeter, put your system under a heavy load, test the battery, test the inverter, calculate that drop, and finally solve your low voltage mystery once and for all. Good luck out there.